process now. Everybody gets to see the process.
So I just realized, like, while not technically on screen, Josh did jump into that game, so that was some Black Rose on screen once again.
No, he definitely was on screen because like it definitely said RS Black Rose joined this game.
Yeah.
The cameraman that's always on camera.
All right, you guys ready?
I love it.
Right,
yes.
No. Here we go. They're not ready.
Okay.
Yeah, just
all right.
Man,
Here we go.
For you.
Okay. Yep. Hey guys, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kenny Omega here, and this is Super Desperation Radio.
That was amazing.
Right. Yeah.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Super Desperation Radio! Go!
That's right. We joined the Bullet Club, everybody.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I just heard about this yesterday. Yeah. I didn't even know you guys were doing it.
Like, all right, so like we did a little bit of an interview, but the thing was like we didn't know if it was going to happen because like the time difference was getting us fucked up. We actually stayed up an entire night trying to do it, and then we figured out that it's actually not the day it's supposed to be. I told you it was off center, man.
What does that mean?
It's
getting right beside we get the top right corner of your head.
Am I doing this?
That's some good head you're giving us there, Anthony.
Something like this? On what side am I supposed to be on?
I think you're supposed to lower the camera.
What do you mean lower my camera?
I mean, you're only getting like the top right corner. Like,
why is it so zoomed in?
That's what the Skype feed is showing me, man.
Yeah,
we're just getting quadrants of Anthony's head this week.
All right, let me try something.
We'll get the other parts next week. Then it's going to be continued. It's a 4-part series.
Yeah, actually, Anthony's going to say a lot of controversial shit on this episode, and he doesn't want his face shown, so you get the left quadrant of his upper head. But yeah, so like Kenny just like I asked him like, hey, would you want to do this? And he was like, well, my schedule's a little messed up, so whenever we can get a chance to, we'll do it. And like I said before, like the times are getting all fucked up. Like we actually stayed up all night on Saturday trying to do it, and we realized that on Sunday morning it's actually still Sunday in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there we go.
That kind of blew us up. But like we had a nice long talk. It's the second episode of SDR Player Profiles. Gibby basically set it up. He gave him the idea, and I just more or less flirted with Kenny for a solid month to get him to do it. And and yeah, it's awesome, and he's actually really open to just like doing it again. So like I'm like, if we do it again, let's just get everybody on board for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I want him on live.
I want him on live too. Honestly, I think if he was,
I don't want to do pre-recorded stuff.
But man, what time? Okay, if it's 6:30 here, what time does that in Japan? That's like
it's like 10:30.
I don't actually.
It would be 10:40 a.m. Yeah,
that's not too bad actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. 10:30 a.m. in America is really hard for me. So,
I mean, I hear you, but
10:30 a.m. is hard in Japan too.
I just want to ask you,
he has a schedule where he probably does a lot of things. So he's probably up pretty early.
That's what I mean, and like,
or at least he's up pretty early playing Street Fighter.
And can you like imagine him dealing with us at 10:30 a.m.? That's like,
yeah, it's like wow.
Oh my God.
I got to roll out of bed on my probably. Day. I got an eventful day just to talk to these jokers. I still love the fact that we're keeping Ringe like on Lifeline. Like he's still a part of the community, boys. You might not see him so often, but here he is.
Hey, that's part of the mystique of Super Desperation Radio. We pull people out who you haven't seen in a while. You thought maybe that they were dead. No.
Yeah, just wait till we get our next character or player profile, Tomo and like Schaefer, roll out the cut.
Wow.
We're gonna actually get Makoto Mike on, stuff like that. These dudes that you just haven't seen.
Well,
we'll actually have Jeff Schaefer's kid on.
Son of Schaefer?
Son of Schaefer. Gotta bring it back.
Oh my God. But yeah, so that was a cool experience.
So, we have not had a show in a while, and a lot of things have happened. Some we will be handling in depth, and some we will not even be touching because everybody else has already talked about it.
It's all right because a lot of stuff has happened, and I already forgot all of it. Like, it doesn't.
Look, that's not as bad as Capcom forgetting to have a character for May.
Ooh.
Ouch. I guess we should start with that because that is the most recent egregious offense. Obvious people were upset about this. They were expecting a character in Jesus. They were
gotta show the love.
They were expecting a character in May, like they had basically laid out the plan for.
They said one every month.
They said one every month, and now I know everybody is searching for that statement, and they did it again, guys. I'm not gonna call it a out and out fib or a flim flam, but
but don't call it a comeback.
It's not a comeback. I mean, I guess it is a comeback technically because we thought they learned their lesson the first time.
Was it a hornswoggle, maybe?
I think it was closer to a hornswoggle, maybe a bamboozlement.
Okay.
I think we've been bamboozled.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part is that I think Ibuki is probably the most positively received character they've released yet. Not to say that Guile and Alex were just like garbage when people saw them come out, but I get the feeling that nobody feels that like I think everybody's gonna play her. I know a Ryu hardcore player who's just like, I'm switching to Ibuki. Like she looks like super troll. She looks fun to play, and we saw Mike and Combo Fiend mess around with her a little bit on CBT, and yeah, she still looks fun to play at a medium level. I won't say high level because Peter is retired.
Oh, I'm convinced that Peter's probably he's probably actually the real best Street Fighter V player. He just can't compete.
That's what he said on the show. Actually, he said he was gonna probably get like top 32 at Evo if he can compete.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, Capcom USA, I quit. I gotta go compete, guys. I gotta
go win this money. I'll be back.
Do you realize that I can make more than you'll pay me in 4 years if I take first place? Stuff like that.
And
I think going to Ibuki, I feel like what people are happy about is that there is enough flavor that's brought back from the old games that people are like, okay, this looks like a character we all recognize but re-envisioned. Whereas like Guile and Alex, honestly, it just looked like they were like, well, here's the same character, but we changed a few things. And pretty much all the changes are the parts of the characters that people don't like.
Yeah.
So whereas all the new stuff that they gave Ibuki, it's like it's more toys for people.
Oh yeah, make a pixie character more annoying.
Like she's got a little bit of like some inspiration from other games. Like obviously a little bit of Bang Shishigami in there, with
Definitely.
the kunai.
Oh man, that's some melee right there, right? You gotta get the needles for Sheik so you can throw them forward or do the angle down.
The fact that she can replenish them is like I know people have always wondered why characters that had stock tools could not replenish those tools because
yeah,
and obviously the usual answer
being
was
a bank player,
exactly right. The usual answer being that that would be freaking ridiculous if he could just throw like 3 kunai every time he wanted to and then just recharge them, right? And so
doesn't matter. They kept nerfing D-Nail anyways,
That's what I'm saying. They kept nerfing it, but then like Capcom takes that idea and it's like, you know what? Let's just give her as many as she wants. Like, why shouldn't she just have like an infinite amount of kunai hidden in her underwear?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that Hokutomaru had a whole bunch of them, but then at the same time, if you throw them, you could just defend all 3 of them and get hella life back.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I mean, that was the equalizer, I guess.
Sea Shuriken wasn't that good, but. I mean, it's true. It's right. I mean, like, we were just playing Overwatch, and God, I wish that, Genji just ran out of Shuriken after a while and couldn't recharge them.
Oh, yeah. You only get 24 for the whole match, then you got to rely on Sword alone.
You got to
actually, that'd be broken.
Yeah, I was like, that would actually be really good.
Builds freaking ult like twice as fast or some shit when he runs out of Shuriken.
Pixie Reinhardt. That's what people want.
Oh, my God.
But, well, and then, the bomb, her V-trigger is... It's a really unique idea for a V-trigger.
Is it? Is it really?
I think so.
It's just a bomb version of Nadeshko.
I mean, but it doesn't really work exactly the same way.
It really doesn't. It's its own thing, yeah. I'm just trolling.
No, I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. Honestly, you know, my biggest complaint about Ibuki is right now is her costume. Just because she always seemed to want to separate her normal life from her ninja life, and now it's just like she's wearing her high school outfit, even though she's in college now, I think, and she's also wearing ninja gear. I thought there was more of like a dichotomy between that. Where
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's weird.
But what do I know about Capcom lore?
That's what I was saying. Like, isn't she supposed to be like just getting into high school? Because
this is supposed to be before Third Strike.
Yeah. So she's still kind of like on that, you know, following orders, but kind of having that I want to be free kind of thing going on thing.
Yeah, it still doesn't make sense though. I mean, I know why it makes sense is because it's probably going to be her story mode costume or something like that. But you know,
yeah.
I just thought that she would make sure that wouldn't happen. You know, her normal life and her ninja life.
I gotta say, you know, just like a little bit of a sidebar, but like her ninja clan is probably the most like forgiving, understanding clan in ninja history because they kill people for less than that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you don't want to be a ninja anymore, huh? All right.
It's like the mob.
We'll see you tomorrow.
They send hits after you. It's just funny though how they keep tricking you. They're like, "Oh no, yeah, you're done after high school. You passed the test. Time to go to college, sucker." It's a historical ninja college. Dude, this is where they finally teach you the Azuna drop. She's not a ninja yet.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing.
She does not have
Gotta go to college before you can become a ninja.
You know, that's what we never realized is you learn that in ninja college. That's the problem.
You're just a rookie at that point. You know, you ain't a real ninja yet.
Damn.
You gotta earn your wings.
Yeah, I was about to say, you gotta earn your stripes.
Oh, man. No, that's but obviously with the I wouldn't even call it a delay, I guess, because it's not like there was ever even a date in the first place. She wasn't even pushed back. It was just a straight up she's not coming out until end of June. And obviously with that, we have certain issues that came up during the week where people were asking if she'll be legal for Evo. And Mr. Wizard said if she comes out on the 15th, that's, you know, totally possible. And then like all of a sudden instantly Capcom's like, yeah, 25th.
Oh wow!
Got him.
And then then Mr. Wizard did a cool thing where he was like, "Hey, if you want her in, we'll put her in. There's no reason why we can't do that, other than the fact that you'll have people complaining about the same shit they always complain about anyway. You know?
You're gonna lose to the unknown, and then you're gonna lose if you're a rookie. So it's like two sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
So, who knows? That character could also be bonkers, like 2i Ibuki or something.
Boy, let's hope not.
Yeah.
EX move is just her SA3 from 2i. That would have been sick.
I know that he put the vote out there, and I know a lot of people were saying that they wanted it. Do you know what ended up happening with that, Chris?
No, I haven't heard any updates on that. I know they were discussing it, and honestly, like it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something that takes until she comes out before they decide. Like.
Yeah, I could maybe see that.
Like they might just say, okay, people wanted it, but we can't even decide on, because what if she comes out and there's just something supremely like unbalanced about it,
Yeah.
True.
Well, at that point they'd probably be. Well, that's the issue. There's that whole save that shit for nationals, and if the shit you're saving is like ridiculously broken, but not necessarily game, breaking, then yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that right now they're saying no, but if people want her in, then yes. The only problem is, who do you listen to at that point? Because obviously, a lot of the people that like these kind of games don't necessarily play them. Are their votes going to be heard? If not, like who are we? Like, you have to be a badge holder?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, is that there are a bunch of people who are probably voting yes just because they want to see the crazy shit she can do on the Evo stage.
Yeah. And
it's like, those people may not even be in Street Fighter V. They're just like, yeah, I want to watch the world burn.
Throw in the X Factor. This person's gonna come up and nobody's gonna know what to do.
But at the same time, like I almost want to say that's almost valid, because they're gonna be the ones that are punching up the stream numbers. They're gonna be the ones that are gonna be buying the tickets. So their vote is just as valid as a player's.
At least
to the TO.
It's as valid if they're attending. Otherwise, no.
I mean, if they're not doing anything, if they're just like, I might turn the stream on, that's obviously a little bit more of a hairier situation since you can't really quantify that. But,
so, thinking about it, not having a bookie at EVO is really not the biggest thing. Sure, it's going to be disappointing, but there's going to be exhibition matches and team tournaments, just like in some more of the fun stuff, why don't you just have her legal there? That's probably going to be how it goes. But when it comes to placing, for Capcom Cup points and potentially the victory, that's kind of a bit more up in the air. I'm not saying people can't figure out a character in 2 weeks or whatever, but at the same time, not everybody's going to figure out that character, so it could really just beat people up in like pools.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, but honestly, like you could say that, the Alex players are probably going to beat people up in pools because that's another character that nobody really has a lot of science on. Just certain people are just starting to do well with them. Like LPN at Combo Breaker just, once again got the entire country on his back when he picked Alex and almost 3-0'd Wolfcrone in top 8. And that's something that, probably going to take a little bit more than a month to really sort out and analyze correctly.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody knows what the fuck he was doing, but it was working.
Yeah.
And
I do think people could probably sneak out some wins with the Buki. I feel like ultimately people probably won't have enough time with the characters to necessarily beat the upper echelon players, I feel like.
No.
Yeah, that's always been the big argument for including characters that aren't, immediately discovered to be out and out ridiculous.
Mm.
So, but I still think that's just one of those things where EVO, in cases like this, EVO always wanted to have a hard and fast rule and not have to just do a case by case. So that's why they always said it's got to be, I think it's a month, right?
Yeah,
a month to the date.
It's got to be a month. And this would have been the only exception.
And I think that's just because, they just wanted to have a rule in place so that they didn't have to, because DLC is becoming a much bigger thing for games, and they didn't want to have to take it to where they have to take under advisement each specific character. They're just like, nope, if it's not in by this point, you can't play.
And it's a good rule, I think. It does protect events from maybe having, I wouldn't say fudge numbers, but just having the results be a little messed up. And
well, I think that in this case, it's for them. It's smarter to have the rule in place, and then they can be like, "Oh, well, this time we'll make an exception."
Right? Yeah, and so that way they look like they are willing to be flexible on these kind of things. And honestly, like not having a Buki in Evo is going to be a lot different than not having Guile at Northwest Majors.
Yeah.
That's going to be a totally different kind of look, especially if she's selectable and people just can't pick her on the character select screen.
Yeah.
Like, that's just going to be weird, man. Sorry to quote Bart Simpson, but that's the only way I can describe it.
It's okay, man. Do the Bart, man.
Do the Bart, man. So I hope they let it in, unless there's just something supremely great game breaking about her. I don't see why she can't be in there because like I said, if she's just strong out the gate, then fine. I think people will have to study her hard in the meantime,
I think from a spectator standpoint, I want to see Ibuki. I want to see what she can do. But from a more logical standpoint, I think that keeping her banned until people make a judgment on it. And I feel like it needs to be more than just like 50+1, majority. I feel like it needs to be like a 2/3 at this point.
Yeah, probably.
As a commentator, I actually would like to see her because this is actually a good opportunity for you to not so much like get a chance to really dig in and analyze her, but whenever there's a new character up there and nobody really knows anything, you kind of get to fly off the handle a little bit. You get to get wild. You get to get excited.
And not only that, because she would be so new, people would have similar strats but also varied ones. And then at the same time, you would see Buki players evolving throughout the tournament, taking tech from other people or learning other new things, behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of potential just to see growth throughout the whole tournament life. For the 3 days, you just keep going. You're like, oh yeah, there's this. This person's doing that. This person's incorporated into their game. So, it's really cool if you analyze all the different players. If you can see that,
right.
So, that's what from a spectator and even commentator point, it'd be really cool to see.
Yeah. And we matter.
Even with the delay to Ibuki, and I guess the update, Capcom still found a way to get into the news more.
Oh boy.
So we had the clarification, I guess, or an update, however you want to word it, on sponsorship rules for Capcom Pro Tour. And what that boils down to is, for those who haven't seen it, and I assume most people have at this point, anyone can play in Capcom Pro Tour, regardless of your sponsor. However, if your sponsor is of an adult nature or anything Capcom deems inappropriate, you can't wear anything that has their name. Nothing can appear on stream. They're not going to be mentioned. And it's just like they basically will not exist for the course of that tournament.
Are you telling me that Gibby can't play because he wears LA in blue? Is he banned?
I mean,
I also wear silver.
City of LA sponsoring Gibby?
He picks all the worst teams to represent at tournaments. He should be banned.
Well, that's what this. Okay.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
You should see Gibby's Enigma in Dota 2. He's got the best black hole.
So
obviously, this is something that they're doing in reaction to the not just YouPorn but other things. I do expect this to change slightly. I don't think YouPorn will ever be allowed in because, simply put, they don't have to let them in. It's not. It doesn't do anything for them that I know of. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but after talking about this with a ton of people that know, and I would like to see them be able to allow YouPorn to get in there, or maybe some offshoot of them that didn't include the letters YP at all, or any kind of reference to the company in that way. But it just seems like it's an unnecessary thing for Capcom to be like, let's risk our reputation on this, and whatever. Honestly, I don't even think it's risking their reputation. I think it's just, it's stupid.
Well, so, okay, obviously originally it was just Team YP and anybody that was in any way affiliated with adult entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
This has now been extended to things that were originally given exemptions, which is alcohol, cigarettes, vaping.
Yeah.
Now, what this strikes me as is, I, like a lot of other people, pose the point that Capcom is saying we're not going to allow these things because you're targeting adults. Well, you're targeting to minors things that are for adults, and I'm like, yeah, but cigarettes and alcohol aren't. You're not doing that,
where do you draw the line?
That's so they did.
And so I'm perfectly fine with them going, all right, so you basically said all or nothing, so you're saying nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a silly thing that they're creating this barrier in the first place. But if you're gonna make it, at least stick to your guns on it.
Yeah, definitely.
I expect the alcohol clause to drop the moment Bud Light, should it happen, ask them to come in on it. I don't think they're gonna turn down that money. That would be ridiculous.
But the thing about it is that with the stuff Bud Light's doing right now, Bud Light is kind of doing their own thing, so they don't necessarily need to.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. If they ever came to Capcom and said, hey, we want a piece of CPT, I don't see Capcom saying, nah, you are going to break our own rules. I see them just writing up the amendment right away.
I can't say that for sure, simply because I don't know how much of the decisions for CPT have to go through Capcom in Japan.
That's the problem too, and a lot of people think this is probably coming straight from Capcom in Japan. And they're probably looking at this as saying we don't know why you guys are upset about these exemptions or these restrictions, but since you don't seem to be happy with any of them, then we're going to take all of them away. And like you said, people are fine with this, or not, I guess. But at the same time, I gotta say that if they want it to go somewhere, they do have to let in these big sponsors. But
I mean, there are big sponsors that are not any of these things, though.
Right, that's true. That is true too. They could always just use Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola probably.
Yeah, I'm like, where is soda, right? I mean, obviously Monster has been around on all the PC esports stuff for a long time now. But how are Coke and Pepsi not in here at all? Or even one of the smaller soda makers.
Shasta. I'll get it. I drive by their building sometimes when I come home from work. Be like, hey, I got a sponsor idea for you. your Tiki Punch. We'll just make that the Tiki Dragon Punch. We're good.
Well, the reason that I'm concerned about it, though, is like Coca-Cola, obviously one of the more innocuous sponsors that they could get. And Coca-Cola is also synonymous with things like, MLB, NFL, just pro sports in general. So that's great for them. But then there's so many other people that are involved with pro sports that are getting involved with esports now. And I don't want to think that should they ever have the interest, that they would have to talk themselves up to anybody, Like, I feel like that's just a barrier that is also unnecessary. So, and people have been talking about how, more and more, this is something that they want to happen. They want esports to be seen as more of a legitimate sport. We've been doing that for years, and it's happening, like Pac-12 is apparently, interested. ESPN's interested. We got Yahoo Esports. It's happening. Not we obviously, but the developers and the people running these events and and owning these games is just, it's got to be a flexible situation, is what I'll say. And so whenever I see Capcom throwing things out like this, it's just like EVO, where they're saying the month rule.
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't see them holding to it hard and fast.
Thinking about this and talking about, hey, why do we got Bud Light versus Coca-Cola? I just realized we get, Hype Fiend sponsored by Coca-Cola. You can be Coke Fiend. Solve the problem. You can be PG.
Does that really solve the problem?
It's talking about Coca-Cola.
I think you just created a new problem.
You might have to force him to drink Coca-Cola on screen like every shot, and he's just gonna be like wired all the time,
Look at me. It's me, Coke Fiend, your friendly neighborhood commentator. I play Chun-Li. I'm pretty good.
Coke Fiend's going to cut like a demo on Twitter again, just like take a sip of the bottle. And then he's going to sing the jingle.
Or, like I was saying, what I was saying to myself thinking about this, they could pull the St. Ides where they got crooked juices and, market that to children. So it's
crooked juices.
Jungle
juice to children.
It's not actually alcohol, but it gets them prepped to be like, hey, you're hanging out, you got your older friends or family members drinking St. Ides, but you got the crooked by the same company, and then you mentor them into becoming alcoholics as they get older.
Is this like the transition of pull-ups, from diapers to actual underwear? You got the pull-ups now?
I mean, isn't that what energy drinks are at these points? Kids are like slamming energy drinks and going to cardiac arrest and whatnot. It's like,
that almost happened to be a dream hack, man. Like, I was drinking so many fucking
you need to chill off drinks. That, man.
Dude, I had like 4 in one day, and they were just like, "You're supposed to have 2," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I did not feel right for at least 6 hours.
I feel like I need to be sponsored by Red Bull because I've never had a Red Bull. I'm the person they want to reach out to. Let me get a pack of all your flavors, and I'll pass judgment at that point.
All these things.
Let's not have a stream where Walkman tries to blow up his own heart just drinking energy drinks. Let's not do that.
All right, the red's pretty good. Let's move on to the yellow. Oh yeah, I like that more. Let's go back to the red. Okay, green this time.
2 hours later.
Yeah. All right, guys, I have medical insurance, thankfully, but
shout out to Amazon.
Just like the hand reaches up from under the table where you've fallen over. Shout out to Amazon.
Coke needs to sponsor me because I am 100%, and you can ask any of the people that work at events that I've gone to. I am the surge pusher man on everybody. I come to
that's true.
36 pack. I'll be like, yo, you want a surge? They're like, I haven't seen this since the 90s. I'm like, sell it at Amazon. Boom. I've even made my own cocktail using Sage.
Dude, man, on the green, right? You got the on the green.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, we need to bottle that shit. That shit was serious.
Secret ingredients.
Secret ingredient is love.
Surge. You paywall it. You want Surge? Gotta have a Prime account. Or live in the South. Yep.
Oh my god. So yeah, I mean, let's just say that for now they are weighing their options, or they're just trying to get through this season. This season obviously a lot different than the previous one, because I was a little confused when they announced that there was going to be a Western Finals of CPT. And I was like, and it's actually taking place around the time that the normal international finals take place. And it's taking place in Seattle. And so now, at first I was like, oh shit, I can't go to CPT finals this year. And then I realized, like, wait a minute, I think that's something totally different. So.
Yeah. Honestly, we finally got, obviously we've talked on this show before about how for the first few months, they didn't even have rules up for CPT.
Yeah.
Or that rules that anyone could find reliably. I'll say that. That doesn't mean they didn't exist somewhere, but we had a hard time finding them.
Yeah.
And so it feels like this, especially with SF5 coming out, and they're doing, the rolling DLC and trying to make sure that the game gets finished and all this. They got a lot of irons in the fire right now. And so I really feel like they're just kind of feeling their way through this process. And if everything ends up finally coming together at CPT 2016 finals and they make it there, I think they'll just be happy that they made it there.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a mess.
Ultimately, I think going back to I'm guessing, okay, so I've always been told, and it's very true, streaming's a blow up. But when you're running your own event that has to be doing all these different things, that's probably 100 million times worse. So if they can, just hit the goal line and not crash and burn anywhere before that, it's going to be a huge success. And so far, the problems are kind of weird, but they've been kind of expanding their own brand with CPT events and whatnot. So there's definitely going to be growing pains when you got 5K people that are going to play at EVO alone, and it's become such a juggernaut, so that more people are even going to scrutinize it because you just have more people in general.
So far, the left engine's sputtering a little bit, but the plane's still in the air.
This is why we have, Positrack. One's in the mud, but the other one's going to push you out. Like, just go. There's a lot of things. It's going to be dirty. It won't be quick. It'll go quicker than they expect, though. So hopefully, by the time
it's going to go quick for a lot of us, but it's going to feel like the slowest year for them.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out looking like a presidency afterwards. Like, Peter just got gray hair. Like, he's just like, oh, man, that was a...
Hans is back to smoking 2 packs a day. Like,
he's just like, these people, man. Can't get them off my back.
Anymore. Hans comes out of CPT 2016 looking like Jimmy Carter.
Like, Hans is somebody I wanted to get on the show sometime this year, and he tells me, like, oh yeah, sure, as soon as everything just calms down with CPT and Street Fighter 5, and I'm like, and I look at him when he says that, and I'm like, do you
realize that's not gonna happen, right?
Like, are you shining me on right now? He's like, no, it's gonna happen. I'm like, man, like, I just want to give you a hug right now, just like, preemptively.
Just give him a pat on the head. Sure it will, dude. Like, sure it will.
Nidell, why you gotta talk like this?
I don't think I've ever not trusted in Lord Hans. So
no, I always trust Lord Hans, and so I know that he's working his ass off to make this thing work. But at the same time, I was like, dude, you know what's about to happen, right? Like, you got every eye.
You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, every eye in the scene is on you now. In the old days, you maybe had 2,000 on you. Now you have at least 1 million. Like, that is not an easy task to just jump into and be like, oh yeah, I'll be on SDR next week when everything calms down. Oh man. So I mean, hopefully him and Peter can, like, stay healthy throughout the entire thing. They seem to be in good spirits, He was laughing and smiling with Mike Ross, even though it's kind of hard not to, like, laugh and smile with Mike Ross because he's just always so damn funny and happy. So good stuff with that. In other news, though, like, I guess Revelator's coming out tomorrow, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Although I keep seeing a ton of people with it now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sitting on the Japanese version, but I would like to be able to read the menus and watch story mode.
Yeah, that's weird. They didn't give you English option for this one, huh?
A lot of people have been speculating about that, whether it was basically just created so that European and North American publishers wouldn't have to worry about it.
I mean,
but nobody has any kind of, official statement. It's all just speculation at this point.
Right. Yeah. Nobody can say that this is something that they chose to just do for no reason. Like, I mean, if anything, maybe they actually want to see what the market looks like on both sides,
Could be. I mean, it would definitely help if they go by that. It would probably help them not have their numbers muddled. Because if they're just assuming that you're only going to buy it in the language that you're going to play it in, then maybe that's the whole thing. So
that's fine.
I don't know. I will say though that I hate to go back to Capcom here, but I have to just for a second. Arc System has not told us when we're getting Dizzy. They're not trying to tell us when we get Dizzy. So when we get it, we'll just be like, "Hey, we got her." Not like, "Oh, we missed our target window. Whoops. Sorry, guys."
You're gonna spend the whole month just not even gonna bring it out tomorrow. It's like just wait a whole month.
At least it's not mighty number forever. Yeah. Actually, thinking about that, did used to work at Capcom.
Did we talk about what happened when they released that trailer? I can't remember if we ever commented on that.
I didn't even bother watching it. I'm just like
that trailer was such garbage. Like, it actually made one of the I think it was what the owner of the company that's either releasing it or publishing it was just or whatever the development company. He's just like, what is this shit? Like, what is this shit? We paid you like $50,000 and you gave us this crap. So it was just like, wow, man, like.
Oh man,
Jesus!
What a blow up!
Total blow up. But yeah, so Arc System is they're just doing it the way they've pretty much always done it. Say, hey, there will be characters, and they will be out one day, and in the meantime,
we'll get like this post by Arc Sys Works. They'll be like, we've got a big announcement for you in 2 days. 2 days roll by. Dizzy comes out tomorrow, and you'll be like, all right.
Yeah, I know.
Cool,
you're like,
thanks.
It's like perfect. I was getting tired of not playing Dizzy, They do that with games too. Like they'll just be like, "Hey, by the way, Exarch's gonna be on Steam tomorrow." Like, what? Or
speaking of Steam releases,
oh boy,
and involving Arc System Works, where is Unio? I'm only hoping that they're stalling because we're gonna get the next one. We're gonna get ST.
Well, the console version of ST is just now getting some talk about it because they actually revealed Mika to be one of the characters that they're gonna put in there.
Well, that's just part of the arcade update.
That is for the arcade update, but I think that's what they're gonna start leading into with a console because we already know they have a console version one in the works, right? They brought it to that.
Well, I assume so. I mean, I'm guessing, and of course this is all just speculation, that fall, winter.
I can see that
would make the most sense.
I definitely don't have a PS4, but with the gaming horizon, I'm probably going to be getting one shortly. I've been holding out for E3 because I think they might announce a new one, and if they do, depending on how it is, I might just buy an old one for dirt cheap or move on to the next one. But there's already 2 games that I really want to play, so we got King of Fighters, Guilty Gear. I probably would like to get Revelate on there, but Super Robot Wars OG, the Moon Dwellers. It's got Hawk and Browning and Ashen Brodel in there. So I know that means nothing to you people, but it means a lot to me.
I'm still working with a Seg's PS4 here, so I haven't bothered to buy my own.
You got the Let's Play 2 on that?
Let's Play 2 on that today, actually. I keep playing the freaking GGPO version because I'm like, I should download this game, but I already have it. It's okay. I'll do it eventually.
But
E3 is also coming up. Shit.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man. I don't know what to think because, okay, so here's the thing about E3. I have given the least amount of shit about what's going to happen at this E3 this year, but to the point where I'm still interested and I'd like to see what's happening, but my expectations are so low, like I'm talking bottom of a well, like negative 40, like sea level, that almost anything can wow me at this point. If someone just if I see a little bit of glitter, I'll be like, all right, good E3 this year. Man,
I think Square Enix might have blew their load already with that Final Fantasy 12 remix. I'm like, oh shit, this was something for E3, man.
Man, and we still can't even get a proper 6 re-release even on Steam.
Nah, they're not gonna do that shit, man.
Or
get the phone version with all those funky colors, baby.
All those horrible, gross sprites.
Lovely sprites.
It's almost as bad as the Mega Man X for the phone remake. Ugh. I don't know if you know about that one, but that one's trash.
What, the Mega Man X remake?
Well, it was a port to the phone, but like...
Oh, you're talking about X over.
No, I'm talking about X. Mega Man X, 1991 Super Nintendo Mega Man X.
Why would anybody do that?
Or 93, whatever. Anyways, it looks so bad, and like there's like, the highway stage is like a long scrolling stage. It's like staged off. It's blocked off. Everything looks so bad. Ugh.
That's terrible.
And you could pay $5 to unlock everything, like the armor and weapons and health upgrades.
That's the whole point, man.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, E3 is something like I think after going to E3, that's probably the worst thing I could have done for like my hype level for E3. After being there, I was just like, it's actually better watching this on stream.
You walk into E3 and just like a board, like a background falls down. There's just like a dude sitting there on like a cardboard box eating a can of beans and a wife beater. He's like,
he's got the top hat with the lid is just off.
Yeah.
You know, I will say that about E3. It was much more exciting in years past to just kind of fall into the hype. And being there definitely does sort of, I don't know, kill some of the magic. But I think, too, it really depends on what you go into it expecting as well.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll say last year's E3 didn't actually have a ton of really big things. Like, there just weren't a ton of really marquee games from what I even remember.
So last year's E3 was like, I want to say the nostalgia E3, but not quite. But you know, we had Final Fantasy VII remake, Shenmue 3, Last Guardian. They showed more Uncharted 4.
Last Guardian kind of nostalgia. Like I remember when that.
I mean, at this point, it got announced like 10 years ago.
I've been nostalgic for the Last Guardian since high school. It's been like 10 fucking years. So much so that I really just wanted it to be canceled. Like I'm like, don't announce it ever again. Just say it's gone. It's done. And then the same year, they're like, by the way, Last Guardian's coming out. I'm like, all right, fuck that.
All right.
Well, but you know, the other thing too is that those games were announced, but how many of them actually were on the floor? Because there wasn't many.
No, there was actually there was trailers, and there was a lot of the stuff that was on the floor was like, I didn't even recognize it. You know, like, and that's something that I feel is not necessarily bad, but it's kind of like in the old E3s, back when I had to read about them in magazines, I knew every game, you know, and I knew every dev company. And now there's so many, and they've all got floor space, and some of their games are really cool, and you never knew about them, and some of those games ain't so cool, and you never knew about them. You never would hear about them again, you know.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of that going on down there, and I found I kind of found myself getting lost in a bunch of shit I didn't want to see.
And I mean, so if you look at it that way, where it's like, hey, if all E3 is basically the press conferences, then yeah, there's no reason to go, because everybody streams them now. So
hey, if you can get into a press conference, you might get like a free Xbox 360 Slim or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, but other than that, yeah, there's just not a huge big deal.
Not at all. That and the beer's too damn pricey. Fucking A.
Holy shit, yeah, it was.
Dude, you gotta get the Costco tech, man.
What
you got
were
Costco
those?
Tech?
Let's see.
We got some tall boys for like, what, $18?
Yeah, it was like an $8 tall boy, $9 tall shit. That was ridiculous.
It was fucking ridiculous, man. Like, I only got slightly buzzed, and then I was like, it's too hot to keep this buzz. I'm sweating it out.
Oh man.
But I mean, I've got some hopes this year. Like, obviously, KOF 14 is going to be there. It's making the rounds. It's going to be playable at the SNK booth. I don't know if they're going to be doing something like they did with Street Fighter V, where they streamed a little mini exhibition.
So is SNK going to have their own booth?
I guess it might be Atlas. Though.
Huh?
It might be Atlas.
Okay. I was going to say I would be really surprised if SNK had their own booth.
I mean, I really wish they did. Like, I kind of wish that they remove Atlas from the picture, because Atlas has so many, irons in the fire. They got Sega, to worry about and stuff. And I'm like, hey, why don't SNK?
Nobody really worries about Sega, Chris.
I know. I worry about Sega all the time, because one day they might magically unfuck themselves.
No, they don't.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. And I'm not even talking about PSO2 anymore, because that game is trash. I hate it. No.
Man.
But Yeah, like, you know, like I wish SNK would just do it, man. Like, you know, Sony's already saying like we want this game to come out, so why bother with, you know, a publisher outside of Japan? Just do it yourself. At any rate,
but it will be at the Atlas booth.
It will be at the Atlas booth, it appears. And so there will be, I don't know if it's going to be run like it was at Combo Breaker or something like that, because I heard that kind of came together at the last minute. You know, they weren't even planning on streaming that. They said that on the show here, that Rick said that they had no plans to do it. And, you know, luckily Slash and Kalisto were cool enough to say, hey, I got some time, let's do it, you know?
Yeah.
So hopefully they got something better going on for that. So that's cool for us. At least we'll have something to talk about with that.
Yeah.
I imagine Reynolds might finally come out and do something.
I'm interested to see if we get any more. I assume we're going to get more information about Fated Retribution, Tekken 7.
Yeah.
And with what they've said, that basically more characters are incoming, I'm assuming we're going to get a character reveal, or maybe two. I'm hoping more than one, because they're just letting these things like drip out. And, you know, honestly, a lot of people haven't gotten to play Tekken 7, and it's frustrating. I know if anybody saw the Twitter conversation that was happening earlier today, about just a lot of people talking about Tekken and what's going on with that franchise now. There's a lot of frustration with the Tekken 7 situation, because, you know, there is no console version yet. There is no console version date. We're not getting one for a while, from what it seems like, because Bandai Namco is devoted to the arcade version of this game.
Yeah.
So and the only way you get to play Tekken 7 now is basically at some fighting game events, and then the Wizard World events. And for a lot of people, that's just not good enough. And I can't say I blame them, but at the same time, they are trying to do something. It's just not the thing that a lot of people want them to do,
right,
which is just release the game on console.
I can't wait for them to go to E3 and make a big announcement. Everybody, we're discounting the price of the arcade version. There's no console version. $500 you get your console. You get your consoleized Tekken 7.
I honestly, if the game wasn't online, they could do something like that. But the boards are ridiculously expensive. Anybody who knows the economics behind Tekken 7 and what Tag 2 even was like just knows that it's a ridiculous mess, just considering how much money it costs to maintain and run one of those machines. So
we're basically looking at round one for like any kind of distribution.
Oh yeah, no, there's no way in hell anybody else but round one.
Yeah.
Unless Dave and Buster's gets in on the act.
Well, here's the
thing.
Because
they did get the Pokken.
They did get the Pokken, and I think they also were the location tests for Tekken 7.
Did they? Yeah, yeah, that's right. There was a couple that did. So yeah, maybe both. But that's still not a lot of, and that's still a lot of places that don't have either of those.
Exactly. That's not the resurgence of the arcade scene, as much as I would love for it to be. But you know, that can be another conversation for another time.
Yeah.
We obviously have to wonder, you know, what's this going to mean for the Tekken scene in terms of like, you know, because I imagine it'll be at EVO again this year, and they'll probably run another side tournament for it. But like, you know, I don't think they can do that 3 years in a row. So if next year they don't have it out and there's no end in sight, like, what do we do then? Like, what do Tekken players do then? Do they just keep playing Tekken Tag 2, or?
Well, I mean, if you look at it, there's a lot of belief that, I mean, and from people inside the Tekken community, that, you know, the Tekken scene has stagnated, basically, to the point where there really aren't a lot of new players playing Tekken.
Right.
Just at all. I mean, now that doesn't mean there are, you know, exactly zero, but it means that when a lot of other games in the last couple of years have started to grow, obviously, you know, you look at how big some of the turnouts for games at EVO are this year.
Right.
That is not Tekken. Tekken is staying very small, very niche, and it's frustrating to a lot of people who love the game because they don't know what they can do about it. And at this point, I don't know that there is much they can do about it, because the most recent version of the game, Tag 2, put off a lot of people who would have tried to approach Tekken casually, because you're making them learn 2 characters instead of 1.
Mm-hmm.
And when a lot of people already have this preconceived notion that there's too much to learn in this game.
Yeah, I know the most common complaint is Tekken is too hard to just pick up. And then, you know, they're probably right. If you come from a 2D background and you don't play 3D games, like that alone is just going to be a learning experience on top of everything you need to learn about your characters, you know? So I can feel them on that end, but at the same time, it's just like, I can't help but feel like it got a little bit to do with the fact that it's just not there for them to even try out, you know? Like, at least in the old days, people could buy Tekken and just play by themselves.
Yeah. So the thing I think is probably like people are like, oh, Tekken's too hard and stuff like that. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. As someone who doesn't play Tekken too much but really enjoyed Tag 2, it does feel different from the other game. But when has how a game felt stopped you from playing it, you know? An RPG is different from like a shooting game, but do you just be like, I can't do this shit, I'm fucking quitting, you know? Is that really how you approach it?
Well, here's the thing. Like, we got a prime example right now. We got so many people playing Overwatch, and they're like, I don't even play FPSs, but Overwatch is so damn fun. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's pretty much an FPS, man.
And I think the problem comes from that we're going back to a point now where people only dedicate a certain amount, only have a certain amount of time they can dedicate to fighting games.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they take one game super seriously, like, and they're like, somebody who's like, I'm trying to get top 8 in this game, then anything that they don't necessarily feel like they can pick up immediately just falls by the wayside.
Right.
And that sucks. It sucks in a lot of ways because it basically limits the amount of thought, because when you have people coming from different games, different, 2D, 3D, all in one player pool, there's a lot more creativity because you get people with different perspectives coming in. But right now the niches are starting to grow deeper, where it's like, hey, this is my game, or this is my wheelhouse because I'm trying to actually make that money. That's what people think, that they have to devote all that time. So it's like you got guys who all they do is they play Air Dashers, like anime, and half the time that's just Arc Sys games.
Yeah.
And then you got times, you got people who are just like, I'm just Street Fighter right now. Because a lot of people who are going in hard on Street Fighter 5, they quit Marvel.
Yeah, that's true, very true.
So I feel like what Overwatch and even League before it kind of gave people was a quick pickup.
Yeah, it's a good time.
That's true. Yeah.
And I feel like Tekken is one of those games that people don't see as that. They don't see that even it's possible. Nobody feels like they can play a quick pickup game of Tekken, which is what Tekken 7 is trying to do, but not enough people are getting to play it yet to have that feeling about it.
Right.
Yeah. Because, I mean, even like playing Virtua Fighter, 45-second rounds, things do pretty good damage, but it feels good, Yeah. It's just the right amount, And yeah, Tekken 7, from what I hear, is that this one's supposedly even easier to get into, and there's a lot of really cool stuff that they added. So I'm just saying, give people the opportunity to try it en masse rather than just, hey, come to Wizard World.
Yeah, and I honestly think that Tekken 7 has tried. They introduced a pretty good number of new characters, so that it was just like, hey, are you new? You can get in with this new character, and no one else is going to know what you're doing either.
Yeah.
So, but and now with Akuma, they're basically like, hey, do you play Street Fighter? You can play Tekken now.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
So like I think they're trying to bridge those gaps, but it's still hard. It's still a hard sell for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I also think that, not entirely. What the fuck happened? Sorry, the camera feeds died apparently. I think that it may not be the entirety of the issue, but I also feel like people approach these games with, a desire to be competitive, like they kind of feel like they have to be this good to be even worth anybody's time or even being worth their time. And I think that's the wrong mentality. You should definitely be able to just, play a game because you enjoy it,
Yeah, no, definitely. And I feel like there is a lot of the FGC who just, right now, they're not in the mentality to do that. Because they're just like, I'm just here to compete. So,
and that's
it's
like,
hard.
And that is hard because you're more or less at the same time you're basically you're relegated to like playing this game at events only, at tournaments, you know, and they have casuals at tournaments, but you're playing against all these people that are like just got out of pools, or they just, you know, are whatever, they're here to compete. And if you're just trying to like learn the game or just have fun, and you have casual, you just like watching and stuff, and it can be kind of disheartening, you know, just get blown up by some dude, and that's not fun, man. And I get we're here to play fighting games, and you know, losing is a part of that, but you know, it doesn't feel good. So a lot of people are just like,
no, it doesn't. And a couple people pointed out to me today while we were all talking about this on Twitter was that the worst feeling is exactly what you're saying. When you feel like you're so out of your league against everybody else who's playing, like even if it's just, you know, it might not even be just a name player. It might just be somebody you step up to play a match and, you know, you literally just get smoked. You're just like, I'm so far behind. I don't even know, you don't know where to start, and you don't have anyone to start with. Right. Like, a huge thing is that, and from what people are telling me all day, is a huge thing that people in fighting games really need is they need that sort of fellowship where it's like, even if it's one other person who's just like, I'm in the shit pile with you, let's both try to figure it out together.
Right.
So I think that for a lot of people, they're just kind of like, you know, whether it's Tekken or whether it's another game, where they're just like, I don't know where to start, and I don't have anyone to start with. Mm-hmm. And so they're just like, I can't, because you know, a lot of people have small scenes or they're just stuck playing online, so it just becomes an intimidating thing where they're just like, I don't really want to have anyone to share my experiences with. This sucks. I'm not gonna do it.
And that's as a KOF player, you know, we all experience that. Like I definitely, you know, we tried to get people in on that game, and they said that they wanted the people they got to play. There were plenty of people to play, but the people they played were just not the best people for the new people to be playing with. You know, like they were. It was a mixture of just being so good and not being able to turn it off, or being unwilling to turn it off, and that's fine. I don't fault them for that. And in some cases, they just weren't very welcoming. They weren't very friendly, you know. There was a language barrier in some cases. There's a lot of things that go into like why people just turn away from games like that, even though they may love them, you know. Even though they may be like, hey, I enjoyed this game enough to practice it at home, and I feel like I'm embarrassing myself by showing up to this, you know.
Yeah, it very much. And I understand that people, especially when, you know, since a lot of us are here to compete, that in a tournament match, you're not going to be giving people pointers and you're not going to be helping them out. But there also is something to be said, and we've talked about this in terms of the KOF scene and in terms of other scenes as well, about how if you want players to stick around, you got to give them at least something.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like, you know,
people maybe respond to incentives.
Yeah, just like offer them a little advice, or if they seem like they don't understand something, ask them if they have any questions. You know, you don't have to be like everybody's best friend. Yeah.
You don't have to hold everybody's hand, but you can lend.
You can extend an olive branch. Be like, hey, we'd like to actually see you stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are a little afraid to do that sometimes because they kind of feel like that's holding hands too much. They feel like that's, you know, like, I don't want to say something like it's not cool to do it, because that's bullshit. I think it's very cool to help out people that are interested in learning a game that you enjoy playing. But sometimes people get some shit for that, man. Like, it's ignorant as hell, but at the same time, it's a truth. And some people don't. It's discouraging for them. A good example is like Reiki. You know, Reiki tried his best to build up King of Fighters in NorCal, and I won't name names, but people gave him shit for it. You know. Then the biggest thing being that they would tell him he is not the guy to talk to about King of Fighters, and whether that's true is not something you should be telling somebody who doesn't know anything about the game or the scene. What difference does it make if they're talking to him or anybody else about how much they know about it? You know, like, if the guy can get some interest going and get people in, who cares if they have the right information? They can get that later. They can decide later on that Reiki didn't know what he was talking about, and maybe they'll let him know the right way to do things, you know?
Yeah. Grow as a community.
That's how it works. And so, I mean, I'm not accusing anybody of that now, but that's just the things that have occurred. And if it's occurred in every scene, and maybe we're reaping the negative impact of that, you know?
I think it's hard. I think there's a couple things that work here. The first one is for some people who started in the arcades, there was always the belief that people are going to come back if they really want to get good. And you can't hold to that ideal anymore because there are no arcades. There's no central place to always play. So people are actually, they have to meet up. You can't just like, hey, I'm going to show up at this random time and I'll be able to find games. That doesn't exist anymore. So the community aspect has to be stronger or it's just going to fail.
Right. And in the,
and the second thing is that, as Huberdozer in the chat said, some people do worry that trying to offer advice or help can be seen as condescending or disrespectful.
Right. And
ultimately, you know, I guess it's like the typical player mentality where people want to be good, and yeah, people can't take criticism in fighting game community from what I've noticed. Like for the most part, it's really hard, and I get that. You know, I'm bad at these games. I want to get better, but like sometimes it's just hard. And have someone be like, "Oh, hey, did you know you could do this?" And you're thinking, "Yeah, I do, but I'm still not incorporating it into my game plan." So that might feel frustrating as well in the heat of the moment. There's a lot of different things that go on, but it's just like ultimately try and take a step back and realize people are just trying to help you for the most part, not tear you down.
And you know, like obviously emotions can be running high in that situation. Maybe you're playing a guy after losing a match you thought you could have won, and then he's trying to give you pointers, and he knows nothing about what the hell just went on between you and somebody else. So you're just like, dude, don't fucking talk to me about how to play this game. I've been playing this game forever, you know. So that kind of stuff happens, but at the same time, like most people just have to realize, like that's all it is just, you know, bad timing, but still a welcome gesture, you know.
Yeah.
And so, hopefully, at least for in Tekken's instance, and in King of Fighters 14, because we are going to have to do some rebuilding here. I think we're going to be able to do it twice as fast as we did with 13, but we are starting from the beginning again here. We're starting from scratch.
So again, going back to the, what's it called? Going back to the good internet thing with that too. Like, first of all, having people to play with, regardless of where you are, is good. But the whole team battle thing, I can understand that learning the game mechanics and 3 characters at the same time can be quite difficult, but that would be a good induction point. Mm-hmm. And, you know, maybe someone will not do their best, but, you know, you have someone on the team, they feel like they're letting it down, but you'd be like, hey, look, just, you know, keep at it. You know, keep working. You know, you put damage on them. You build meter, you know, something like that. Like,
yeah, you're the battery.
You're working as a team, you know? Mm-hmm. Hopefully people don't go, oh, good, you just fucking got blown out, and now he's got hella life back, and holy shit, what the fuck are you doing? I can't wait for that
argument to happen, man. Like, just...
It's not my fault he's got 4 meter going into the second round.
Stop using the guard cancel so much, man. You know, like
I need something here, man. I need max mode. Like, I can't take him out.
You just can't wait for the League of Legends stop feeding.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Just like, dude, just don't.
I get it. It gets frustrating, but it just
No, and I get it. I get it's frustrating, and but that's what we signed up for, you know.
I think we've all felt frustrated at some point. If not.
Oh, definitely.
Every time we pick up a fighting game, there's a 9 out of 10 chance that we're going to leave it mad.
Yeah, don't, because like that's another thing I think that we fail to realize in the fighting game community is that everybody's had the exact same negative experience as everybody else. There's no escaping it.
Nope. Someone's
talking shit. Maybe you're just not feeling it, or you're just down on yourself. You know, it's bad, but we can't let those negative things, you know, stop our progression of getting better. I mean, I kind of did, but you know, I'm still here. I play every now and again. I've come to terms that I'm bad, but I also come to terms that I never really tried to get that good. So ultimately, I think if I spent 12 hours a day playing these games and I was still really bad, I might feel a lot worse. But I really don't have too much to complain about not having invested as much time as other people might have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But again, everybody has these same thoughts. Everybody has these same experiences. And so when you look at your opponent or anybody else that you might be playing with, they're not so different from you. You know, in the game, we're practically all the same. So it's hard to think about. You got to be friends with everyone, but just understand that, you know, things get shitty.
You got to give them that whole "we're not so different, you and I" speech. Oh man, so hopefully things turn around. Hopefully when Tekken 7 comes out, the community can hit the ground running. Obviously Tekken 7 Namco very interested in building a scene for it, at least with that world championship thing they got going on.
King of Iron Fist, man. Apparently there's a guy in there who keeps winning the qualifiers, and he's like, no. Yeah, Anakin out of Atlanta has technically qualified for the tournament finals twice now.
Damn.
And has given up his spot both times. So he will be trying to defend that spot, or re-win that spot at, I believe, CEO.
Ooh.
If he can do the hat trick, man, like, that's a story in itself, dude. Like,
yeah. 3 times?
3 times.
That's usually unheard of in fighting games.
Anakin's for those people who don't know and who are listening, Anakin is a very storied player in the Tekken scene. He's been around since Tekken 5 days, if not even a little bit before. He's one of the players who's actually beaten the Koreans when it was at MLG in Tekken 6. He actually ended up winning the biggest tournament of that MLG season. And he's considered easily one of the best players in the United States.
Yeah.
So.
Like anybody.
He actually went to Japan. No, he went to Korea for him and Fab and one other person. Ended up going to Korea for the Tekken Crash Battle Royale several years ago too. So.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
That is pretty cool, and so like I hope that he can do the 3-peat, because you still win money for winning, right? So I guess.
You do.
He's still getting that cash. Hopefully we can get him on the show. I want to talk to this guy about his process here. Like, because I gotta say, man, that takes a lot of balls, man. Like, just like take the Jimmy Tran, Mr. Naps.
I remember seeing him recently.
Yeah, so it was Rip, Fab, and Anakin.
Okay. Little known fact about Mr. Naps, he was actually almost a KOF 13 player, and I think he was too busy to come out as much as he wanted to, and like practice all the time. But his only, as far as I know, from the horse's mouth, his only practicing partner was Roger Dodger. So that might have had something.
The legend.
The legend. The NorCal number 2 KOF Kim, the originator of down back flash kick. It's the best move in the game.
And the finger wag.
The finger wag. I should know that these things all work on me. So like, he's the best. I was beaten by the best.
But
I was beaten by the best.
That went a little bit long, but I kind of just want to go into that a little bit, especially with KOF 14 coming out too. That I think KOF 14 and Tekken 7 are both kind of going to be up against the same wall.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. So
I agree. Put Terry Bogard at Tekken 7.
I'd be down with it,
man. Like, people are more open to crossovers than ever before now.
I mean, if they even went like real bad, he's got chains in that. It'd be a better jumping off point than Akuma probably, and Akuma's already doing well.
All the chain combos just like stand heavy to like down forward heavy into like burn knuckle. That's all you need. It does like 8%. But yeah, no, I think that was a great. I don't even know. We weren't even planning on talking about that, but it just turned into something. And
that's fine.
We're in the same spot. We're going to be both probably side events at Evo and every other event we show up at. KOF 14 is going to be at CEO also. I will be there as well if you haven't heard already. So and so will Kenny Omega.
Oh yeah,
Kenny Omega will also.
I hope he hits you with the one winged angel through a table.
Ooh.
We did discuss something like that, but I think he's going to do that to Jabali, who will hopefully give us a chance to spend some time on the mic together, because he's a
I actually thought you were going to say who will hopefully sell it, because you know what, Jabali strikes me as a guy who's just not going to sell anything.
Man.
He's just gonna get up and he's gonna wag the finger like he's Hulk Hogan, and then he's gonna hit you with the leg drop. Just gonna bury you there, man.
Oh my god, you just nailed it, man.
So reading up on Kenny Omega moves, like his trademark moves, he now has the V trigger, which is a running knee strike, as of 2016.
Somehow that makes sense.
This guy is the biggest jackass. I hope get autographs for all of us while you're there.
Dude, you guys are gonna love this interview. Like, there's just moments where he's just like, this guy just like goes into shoot mode at the drop of a hat and just like blows everybody up. And I'm like, wow, we weren't even asking you that, Kitty, but all right, go ahead, you know. So
it's awesome.
He's a great guy, and
put him down.
Gibby believes he's basically me but successful. So
damn,
wow,
what a boast!
I know. Right? If only I was a wrestler.
Only you were successful.
Speaking of wrestlers, I'm going to go a little real sports here for a moment. But one Mr. Brock Lesnar apparently returning to the Octagon unannounced. Just feels like going back to get knocked out by Mark freaking Hunt. Jesus, are you crazy? What's wrong with you?
I literally have no reason to why WWE would allow him to do that unless they had no choice.
They had to have no choice, man. Like, he's probably just like, fine, whatever you got lined up for me, I'm going to ditch that and just do nothing just so I can do this one fight.
Hold on. When is Pork Brosnan's gonna fight CM Punk?
We got to get CM Punk into the damn Octagon first.
It's gonna happen, right?
Apparently UFC 200's in July, right?
Yeah, that's gonna actually.
And then Punk's first match is tentatively rumored to be late August now. So
that's kind of a bummer. I would have loved to see him fight in July.
So Brock's getting back in the Octagon before Punk actually gets in.
Yeah.
That's a jacking.
That is a jacking. It's actually hilarious because you could argue that Brock was one of the factors that Punk was mad about when he left. And it followed him back to its home. So I hope he is there watching Punk's fight. You know? And I've got nothing against CM Punk, but I'm just like, you know, I want to see Brock Lesnar just be all like, you know, what are you doing here, man? You ain't built for this.
I'm just mad. Like, I think the Octagon is passe. We need to move up to the dodecahedron. It's closed in off the top. 12-sided, three-dimensional figure. You know, not this 2D shit. Don't let the anime kids convince you that 2D is superior to 3D. We gotta get them.
Why don't we just fuck to all this 3D stuff and just go into 4D and be like, oh no, he's got him in a temporal headlock. He's not gonna tap.
Oh my
God. Eternity.
Yeah,
the ref doesn't see it.
He's tapping and not tapping at the same time.
The ref cannot perceive this movement.
It's too quantum. I can't comprehend it.
What color is that? Is that what? I can't even make the words out of my mouth.
Everything just looks like it's getting larger and smaller. I can't comprehend what's going on.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that's some weird news. I mean, he's obviously still got that part-timer contract going on with WWE, and they never outright said that he couldn't do this. In fact, they pretty much built him up to be like the conqueror of both franchises. So it
I feel the exact same way.
Oh man, she is mad. I think they set themselves up for this, you know? Like, they let Paul Heyman spout about how he conquered UFC and now he's going to conquer WWE again. And so why wouldn't he conquer UFC again?
I don't know.
It's just like, you know, that would just be weird. And like, I'm going to spoil a little bit of the interview right now because we did ask Kenny about what's going on with Xavier Woods. And the answer we got was very candid.
Interesting.
Very extremely candid. Basically, what it boiled down to is like, you know, he.
Hold on. Don't give him all of it. Just tease him for the interview, Chris.
All right, I'll just
let him hang.
I'll just
let them hang.
This interview will come out on June 20th. We'll be posting it on Team Spooky's channel, and I'll just say that the answer to this is. At first, I thought it was a joke. At first, I thought he was totally, I thought it was totally kayfabe. And then he was just like, nah, man, it's bullshit. Like,
it might surprise you.
Oh, shit. We're going full clickbait?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I knew it was coming. I in the back of your mind, you hear this, and you're like, okay, this makes perfect sense. I always assumed it was like this, but to have it basically halfway confirmed by somebody in the industry is just like, that is freaking stupid, man.
Don't miss it, folks.
Don't want to.
Hey, I can talk now. How's it going, everybody?
Hey, you made it.
You guys know Kenny Omega doesn't play Dragon Quest?
Yeah. Not one.
You've been waiting all night to say that, I know.
No, I'm just very upset about all the background noise. Sorry about
background noise in our video.
Sorry about blurting this thing like an idiot, but yeah.
But it's cool. This is about the time that we can start rambling.
You also missed the Overwatch pre-show, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
He was playing. He was playing in 20 ticks.
Yeah, Alex missed it too. Paul was here, but he, I don't think you can play Overwatch yet, right?
No, I got it. I've been playing over the weekend.
Okay, cool. So we all have Overwatch now. So here, let me just say this. I was going to crowdfund Overwatch a few weeks ago, and I definitely did because Anthony forced it down my throat. Thank you, Anthony. he definitely crowdfunded me a copy of Overwatch by himself. He's a one-man crowdfunding machine.
Nice.
So if you ever need like one of those $billion projects back, just hit up Walkman. He's got that Amazon money.
I'll just dip it in my stocks. It's fine.
Oh, see all your stocks and bonds, sir. Check your portfolio.
So what we need to do now, we need to get an SDR crew, 6-man. So we're probably gonna have to add that Hanzo, whatever the guy that is now.
He's a producer.
Look. We can get Seg, we can get Hanzo as ringers, but we got to keep it true SDR and get somebody back to their first-person shooter roots. And get Kelly back. Oh lordy!
Man.
I mean, it's time. Shit, I don't want her like rage quit in the middle of the match to go do like some work for Exceed.
Like, what we need is her just to fucking go into like a LAN. I would want no one else to yell with me at the opposing team than Kelly.
It would literally just be her yelling "fuck" the entire time. Though.
A very guttural fuck, which really brings.
Yeah, it really would be.
Because you could yell "fuck" out of exasperation, or you could just like land a really sick justice reigns from above. Fuck. Like really get it in there.
Or maybe a "suck my nuts" asshole.
Yeah. Never forget.
Oh my god.
So yeah, this is a project we got to work on. I'd rather do it live, but we could pre-record something. I don't know. Live would be better. That way we can interact with stupid people.
I figured out the reason why it was so choppy when I streamed is because the damn thing was in 1080, and apparently it does not like that. Like,
yeah, don't do that.
I mean, I didn't even
know. Like that. Don't do that.
I mean, I didn't want to do it. I just did it, and I was like, I was changing all the settings and like
that could actually be the blow up. That could be the daily blow up. It's just all of us playing Overwatch.
Hold on. All right, so Chris, you've been playing a decent amount.
Yeah, I've been playing all right.
Can you tell me how your intensity towards the game changes when you run into an opposing team that might have one or two fighting game players on it?
Oh man,
does that happen to you?
I can sniff it. Like if it's a Genji.
No, but have you ever just run into somebody? Have you run into somebody that's explicitly it just says "lamer boy" on the opposing team? Have you run into that?
I freaking go ham, dude. I'm just like, you are not in your element, boy.
We fucking had a team the other day that was we had a team and we run into the opposing team of Fu, Beautiful Dude, Dantarian, and 3 other guys, and we went from like, hey guys, let's all pick 6 Torbjorn to like, fuck this, let's murder him.
Because you got to see these dudes afterwards, right? One of them's going to be like, hey, how about that Overwatch match, huh? You guys are pretty free. Fuck you, man.
So the best part is we do a 5-minute comeback on King's Row, like 10 meters away from then capping the final point, right?
Oh, man.
Hold it off, and then we one and done them.
Oh, you just dipped?
We dipped. We took the winning dip.
Wow.
We made them squeeze that shit.
Hope somebody types GG no re and then you just quit.
There's no 2 out of 3 clauses in FPSs, man. They tell you can leave the game or you can stick around for another one that's totally different environment, so it wouldn't even matter anyway. So my map is freaking Ilios. I don't play on anything else. I suck at
see me in Ilios. See me in well.
See me in well.
Yeah.
See me in Lijiang Tower.
Garden only. None of this fucking control
Yeah, exactly, right? I'm not doing none of that damn King of the Hill crap.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, before we just actually start playing Overwatch, does anybody have anything else we want to say to end the show?
Combo Breaker was dope. There's a new Under Night character coming out. I don't know if that was mentioned because all I heard was Lawnmower and baby screams.
We talked about it a little bit.
We talked about Mika.
Okay. And Combo Breaker was dope. I said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Overwatch, Evo Grand Final schedule was released. It's gonna be
yeah.
It's going to be Mortal Kombat. What was it? Hold on. Don't Mortal Kombat, Marvel, Exerd, Melee, Street Fighter 5. That order.
That actually started a very interesting conversation on Twitter about why Smash 4 is not in that lineup. But
even though that was announced months ago.
Yeah, I know, but people are still going to be people, you know?
Even though that got announced in, January when they said what games would be on Finals Day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joey definitely said it like the day he announced everything or a few days after he announced everything. And
there you go.
I like the schedule. It's not bad. The only issue is, so the one good thing about the anime time slot was when an anime game was in there, people could watch it and then bail and not have to watch anything else. Now they have to come in the middle of the show.
Yeah, I'm mad about it. At least I get to sleep in though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like you can sleep off the hangover, but then you got to be there for most of it. You know, it's a give and a take.
And we are coming from the other side of the strip too, so. That's
gonna be a hassle.
You know what's really disappointing about Mortal Kombat? This is just a quick aside thinking about it. The game's like owned by Warner Brothers now. Where the fuck is Bugs Bunny?
You can get out.
No, seriously. Like all the cartoony, like he just pulls out fucking whatever, chews a carrot, kicks your ass, makes you do stupid shit. You're gonna be so sick.
I want them to put Daffy Duck in there.
I want cartoony violence.
See, the one thing that got me about this is I saw a lot of Mortal Kombat players complaining, which I mean I get it. Your game's at 9 a.m., 8 a.m., whatever. You're complaining, but
we're ESL, man.
Yeah, like here's the thing: Mortal Kombat has so many events that they got. Most of these games outside Melee doesn't really have anything anymore. Fucking Exerd has. This is the biggest Exerd thing, right, Paul?
I mean, in the U.S. definitely. I mean, obviously Arc Revo Cup in Japan.
And what was the other thing? Marvel? Marvel has nothing. So, yeah, just deal with it.
But I thought Marvel was having a resurgence this year.
Look, I think honestly, if I had to guess, they really probably judged like the final schedule probably on a couple things. They factored in viewership, they factored in players for the games. And they probably had some kind of matrix where they just kind of crunched those, or they eyeballed it and they were like, well, given this, and this, we should just do that. I don't think it's any kind of bias. I don't think they hate anybody. I mean, whoever got to go first was going to be mad. We all know it because we would have been mad if we had to go first again this year. Yeah. So stop trying to, look like it's always a conspiracy.
It's just like
unless it's anime, and then it is a conspiracy. Remember that.
That's why it's the anime time slot.
Nepotism.
Why it's the anime time slot. He's right.
Words.
What's up?
Can you stop using these advanced words?
Oh, my bad.
Can't look things up fast enough.
Guard.
All right. Anybody got anything else?
Probably.
We will have. I don't know. Did you tell them about our guest for the next week? Or 2 weeks
yeah. So this ought to be. Speaking of major events and people that don't sell.
People that don't matter. People that don't matter.
Oh, excuse me. People that don't matter. Jabali, famous for getting bodied 10-0 by Gibby in Breaker's Revenge.
Hey, everyone, how you doing?
It wasn't 10-0.
10-0
It was 10-2. But it was 100 though. If you want to put it in dollar value.
Wow. Anyway, let's get to it. When's he going to be on the show?
He's going to be on the show next week, June 13th, which is
Isn't
also
that a special?
Yeah, that's going to be the specialist SDR of the year because it's Hell Pockets' birthday.
Oh God! Will he be sober enough to run the stream?
I don't know.
No, check it out. This is how it's going to work. The show is going to start up. Okay, Chris is probably going to be about a 32 pack in, and then as the show progresses, he's probably going to down another 32 packs. Just 32 packs, not 32 beers, by the way.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to let it rock.
And he's just gonna fucking do it just because I can't show weakness. I gotta show people I can do this. And Jabali's gonna regret ever wanting him to show up to CEO.
Oh man,
well, that's not
like, oh man, I made my bed. Time to lie, and he's gonna ruin my event. But
I invite everybody to have a toast with me during the show. I mean, obviously, if you're old enough to enjoy those things, yeah, should be a good time.
I'm gonna sneak into his house when he's not there and bring him a big plate of spam musubi so I can show him real Sacramento barbecue.
Oh wow!
Oh Lord!
Let's just bring back everybody who's ever made fun of me about stuff on my birthday, so I can cuss them all out at the same time.
We've run out of time in the show before we ran out of stuff to make fun of you for, Chris.
Yeah. The fucking Valentine's Day massacre. He's just gonna put them against the wall and just shoot them all down. Fuck you, you're cool.
Who's coming with me?
Man, I really hope next week no one's mowing their lawn at 7:30 in the goddamn night.
That is fucking ridiculous, man.
What the hell's wrong with people?
I don't know.
You know what you need to do is you need to just siphon all the gas out of the lawnmowers before they get up there.
Yeah. All right, I was just breaking other homes.
Or just pull out the sugar. You know, that I heard it's really good for the gas tank.
Wow, did Kimbo Slice really die?
Yeah, I was reading that. I
man.
didn't want to talk about it because I couldn't find a legit source. Just people on Twitter like, oh, he's dead. I guess it said like he died of heart failure, heart disease, or something. Did you guys know Kimbo Slice was famous for fighting a guy named Ganon and beating the shit out of him?
He's Link?
Maybe.
Yeah. He just might
Rich Ganon?
Yeah, Rich Ganon. That guy carried an entire team on his back
over the cliff.
He was so good. But after he left, that's it. The Raiders went to shit for over a decade.
All right. I'm closing it down. We're done here.
Damn it, dude.
Shit.
I'd like to thank everybody for listening to another riveting episode of Super Desperation Radio. So from everybody here, good night and good luck.
I can't. Okay, there we go. And we're